Welcome. It's Monday here in beautiful Southern California, award-winning KHTS radio. I don't care how you listen, but you can listen at, I do care how you listen. I'd love to have you listen live because we got a big show today. I've got the mayor in with us. Talk about the mayor in a second, but you can listen live on hometownstation.com. You can listen on our mobile app. Go to the App Store and type in KHTS 1220 AM. That's a lot better. Producing our shows, one of my dear friends, Aaron. I don't even know your last name. You're so close.
Are we friends now?
No, we're not really friends. I'll tell you who I'm friends with is my buddy Ryne, who's playing for San Francisco State, and he was one of the great centers of all time at West Ranch. And
Hype it up, Coach. Hype it up.
Yeah, I'm hyping it up. And we're going to talk a lot about sports in Santa Clarita today because we have the mayor with us. We're also on YouTube Live, and we have an audience. I don't know the young lady's name, but we do have an audience. So let's get right into the show. Cameron Smyth, the mayor of the city of Santa Clarita. And I don't know you from Adam, but I have to compliment you. I grew up in Thousand Oaks, and the city of Thousand Oaks was one of the best-run cities I've ever experienced in my life for several reasons. A, the streets were always clean. Potholes were fixed, plenty of parks, and you could go and communicate to the city council on Tuesday nights. They would listen to you. They had a lot of community involvement, and back to you, congratulations, because I see Santa Clarita like a little junior Thousand Oaks. The streets are clean, tremendous parks, and you can come and talk to you guys. On what night?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't have anything to argue about.
I have to argue with this calling a junior Thousand Oaks, though, because we got a little bit more people than TO now. So we're a little bit bigger. Yeah, I mean, Santa Clarita's we're at over a 250,000 people in the city, pushing 300,000 in the valley as a total. Third largest city in LA County, only behind Los Angeles and Long Beach.
Wow.
So we're definitely not
right behind Long Beach.
Well, we're pretty far behind. Long Beach is about 500,000. So, but we've passed Glendale and other cities in the county. So, it's not the same town I grew up in. For
yeah,
sure.
But I have nothing to complain about. I mean, everything seems to work. A lot more traffic than I would like. That's not your fault. I can't blame you for that. But they seem like they're working the lights. The lights seem to understand that. So when people come down on Tuesday nights, then we'll get into sports. You're listening to Coach's Corner here on KHTS 1220 AM. We're going to get into sports here in a minute. I just want to talk to the mayor for one more minute. So on Tuesday nights, when can the public talk?
Right. So just like any regular meeting, we have the public comment section is at midnight. At the beginning. Nope. Very beginning of the meeting.
Really?
Yep. So now, admittedly, we limit that to first 10 people. And so the public participation is where you can talk about anything that you want. It's not on the agenda item, so we can't take any action. But if people want, they have issues that they want the city to address at a future time, they can talk at the beginning. And then once you get to 10, then we cap it off. And if you want to stick around, we do have a public participation at the end of the meeting as well. But we felt that it's better to cap it off so that we can get to the business of the agenda items. And during that, people can speak on any item on the agenda. So if there's 20 items and one person wants to speak on all 20, they have that right. So we try to keep it as open as we can while still wanting to make sure we get down doing the business.
Well, congratulations from my family to yours. Now, how long are you mayor for?
So I was elected to the city council for this turn. I was just elected in November. The way Santa Clarita does it, like many municipalities, we have a mayoral rotation. So it's voted on by the council, which lasts pretty much a calendar year.
Okay.
So come December, the council will vote for a new mayor. Certainly, it's not an automatic rotation. It's never happened because Santa Clarita tries to do things a little bit different, a little bit better. But certainly, if one council member was able to maintain 3 votes, they could stay as mayor as many times as they wanted. But we have done a real nice job of always trying to make sure everybody gets their shot. If you've been elected by the people, then you have that right.
And that sounds fair. And hopefully I have a show on Tuesdays called the the business life. So hopefully next Tuesday you'll be on my special guest for a whole hour, because I want to pull the curtain back. Not today. We're getting into sports right now, but I want to pull the curtain back on how you were in the state legislature for 6 years?
Correct.
Wow. So I'd love to pull the curtain back and really find out how that whole thing works. But let's get into sports. So tell our audience, you grew up in Santa Clarita?
I did, born and raised.
And where'd you go to high school?
Went to Hart.
Hart. And sports?
Yep.
What sport?
So at Hart,
You're 6'5". We need to do a disclaimer. So I'm 6'4", you're 6'5", and Ryne is 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
So you were a basketball player.
Nope. Oh, well. So
Stop it. You weren't a basketball player?
So I lettered in football, volleyball, and track.
Oh, you did?
I did play basketball beginning, but it ultimately gets to be too much. So growing up, obviously, I played all the sports. Those three. Well, not volleyball because that was kind of a newer deal, but played baseball, played soccer.
Were you wide receiver?
I was.
That wasn't hard to figure. Look at your size of your hands.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Who's your quarterback? Do you remember?
So I had three really. My sophomore year was Jim Bonds.
Oh my goodness.
And then
I remember him.
Junior year was Darren Renfro.
Okay.
And then senior year was Rob Westervelt.
Wow.
Three successive all CIF quarterbacks. So.
And you were on all those teams?
So I moved up to the varsity, and so with Jim, and it was you could see what that was my first exposure to what a Division I, athlete quarterback, just how he could put the ball pretty much anywhere he wanted, and the pace with which the ball came out and got on you quickly. That was an adjustment moving up, but it was good. And then Darren was left-handed like I am, so everyone would complain. The ball came out funny, but to me it was natural.
Spinning the other way.
It does have a different spin, but to me it was natural because I'm a lefty. I was a lefty, so I had no problem with it.
Now I was a quarterback in high school, but a wide receiver in college. I used to go in the huddle, and my quarterback was my pal Bill Wilson. I'd say, "Billy, come on, I'm wide open. Throw me the ball." How many times did you go in the huddle and say, "I'm wide open"?
It got
every time.
Well. It depends on your quarterback, right? When you're a senior, you're a little more confident, and the quarterback was a junior. But I wasn't telling Jim Bonds anything,
He was legit.
I assumed, if I got in the game and when I got brought up, if I got in the game, I was just happy, so I was going to do whatever they told me to do. So, but of course, I was, I'm still open today.
I bet you are. All right, we're talking to the mayor of Santa Clarita, Cameron Smyth, and he's really appreciated and loved by the community. So you graduate from Hart High. I think you graduated, right?
I have a diploma signed by, and you have to remember.
Did you walk? Or
I did, and in fact, my dad was the superintendent of the Hart District when I was growing up.
Oh, get out of here.
My dad's signature, he wouldn't have signed my diploma if I had not graduated.
Okay, then where do you go? You go to college?
So yeah, I went and played football over up at UC Davis.
Oh.
I tried to do two sports there. I tried to do volleyball.
The Aggies.
Yeah, tried to do two sports my freshman year, and it was volleyball was a real eye opener. We didn't get a team out here until my junior year, and so it was I thought I was a big deal, all CIF, all this, and then, I go up there, and I mean, I never seen guys that size, like Ryan size, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, this is gonna hurt, and I don't know what I'm gonna. It was a different level. So trying to do both, I realized it was time to move on and just focus on football.
When you were at UC Davis, was that before they went FCS? Or was that when they were D2?
That's a good question. My last year, we started the transition.
Okay.
So I went there. It was D2 when we started, and then my last year we started the transition.
Were you guys a member of the CCAA? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the conference that I play in right now.
No doubt. We played. At that point, our league was Sonoma, San Francisco, Hayward, Chico, Davis.
Hayward now.
And you dominated that league for 20 years. My daughter went to Davis, which is a great school, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking at a school in a great little community, best hamburger in town at Monster Burger.
See, I'm before Monster Burger.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
The grad is still there, though. I'm glad to know that.
But I haven't been up there in a while. I know they redid the stadium, but remember, the stadium kind of used to be in a park with about 5,000 people.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, when before I got there, Davis was really dominant, and they had a game on TV, one of the D2 playoff games, and Toomey Field, it was called, was just a mess. And afterwards, the president and the chancellor was like, "We are an agricultural school. We cannot have our grass field look like crap." So from that point on, the field at Toomey was as good as any other grass stadium in the country, because we were an ag school and they made a commitment to it. And so we didn't practice on it. You wouldn't go on it until we'd go on it for the spring game, for the blue gold game. And then no one touched it again until opening day. And I mean, it was a beautiful, fast, short grass, great stadium.
Isn't Davis, and we'll get into sports right now, ladies and gentlemen, so hold your breath.
We can keep talking about me. That's fine.
No, we're done. We're done.
My favorite subject.
Isn't Davis the bike capital of the United States?
For at least for the campus was
20,000 bikes, Ryan. 20. Can you imagine?
Well, see, and
they don't use those in San Francisco, Coach. There's too hilly.
Yeah,
too many hills.
Unbelievable.
Well, and you would always know who the freshmen were, because in the winter they didn't have the fender on the back, and so they'd show up to class with the stripe on their back from riding their bikes in the winter and the rain. So everyone would have kind of the freshman stripe. So
all right, let's talk about the Major League Baseball draft, which is today. So in your community, Mr. Mayor, am I right in saying this, Ryan? The first time in the history of the draft that two players from the same city are going to go in the top 10. Am I right on this?
I believe so, and it's the first time that two players are going to be picked in the first round from Santa Clarita Valley.
Hunter Green, do you know him?
I do, yes.
6'4", shortstop, pitcher, can throw 100 miles an hour. Front page of the Sports Illustrated 3 weeks ago. Have you met him?
I haven't, no.
They named him the LeBron James of baseball, and many are calling him the next Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was going to go number 1 in the draft, but in your reporting, and you're a great reporter, you got him going number 2, and it makes sense. That Louisville pitcher who I watched pitch to, that guy looks tough.
Yeah, no, he's a great pitcher, and I think they're kind of slating him as a for sure. He's kind of one of those guys that doesn't need a lot of development. And they're saying Hunter Green is one of those guys who's going to have to get a little development in order
18?
to be. Yeah, he's young. He's young. And he's going to need a little bit of development to become that franchise player.
But this Louisville pitcher, I think he could start for any major league. I mean, this kid is 6'4", 240 pounds, looks like a bulldog. He's all business, and he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Now, the other kid, I don't know either. How do you pronounce his name?
Keston Hura.
And he's at which school?
He's at Irvine, right?
Yeah, Irvine. He's a Valencia high grad.
Valencia. So he's going to go. You've got him going to the Oakland A's as number 6. So I did do a little homework over the weekend. So if Hunter goes number 2, if he goes number 1, he's guaranteed signing bonus $7.2 million.
That's not too bad.
7.2. He's 18. The money. Let me ask you both, Mayor and Ryan. To me, I could argue both sides of the fence. Something's not right. I mean, he's not a brain surgeon. He's not saving lives, and the entertainment value isn't going to potentially be there for years. The money just seems out of whack with reality. Your take, Mayor?
Right. I'm a free market guy, and so if he can get, if that's what the market rate is going to pay him, then that's what the market rate's going to pay. It doesn't mean that teachers and firefighters and others should be shouldn't be compensated. But that's just kind of the priorities that people place on it, and it's a big risk, right? Yeah, signing bonus of 7 plus $8 billion or $8 million. For someone who's going to go spend a couple of years in the minor leagues. I mean, it's certainly a long-term investment. But again, I got to put my free market hat on there, and you got to keep in mind too, being a California kid, Uncle Sam and the state's going to take about half of that, and that's a big challenge. I gave this talk before when I was in the legislature when we were talking about taxes and budget deficits, and when you see some of these athletes that were California kids, like Tiger Woods, the Williams sisters. I mean, they're California kids. They moved to Florida, and at their peak, the three of them were pushing $500-600 million a year, but they were going to another state where the taxes were less, and you can't tell me that doesn't impact them sometimes.
No, it does. Our show is brought to you by Valencia. My granddaughter says, "Pa, just get it right." Valencia Country Club. Big shout out to you, Missy Carter. So, if you're interested in joining a country club in the history of Valencia Country Club, they have an offer. I can't announce it on the air, but they have an offer. You have to call Missy Carter over there. This is, if you ever thought about joining a country club, this is the time to do it. They have a very special program that ends June 30th. So, Mayor, if you're thinking about joining a country club, call Missy Carter over at Valencia.
Sometime I don't think the deal is quite down to mayoral
Status,
abilities, but.
So, Ryan, I heard what the mayor said. I don't disagree with him, and there's a side of me that argue all day long for the free, just what he said, the free market system. My angst, first of all, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that when you look at a kid like Hunter Green and the type of pop that he has out of his hand, the pitching ability, he's got the sliders, he's got the off speed, not just the fastball that's 102. And he has the hitting ability that he has and the ability at shortstop. The kid is blessed. He's blessed with major league ability. And I think that if he's going to get, $8 million in a signing bonus, I think that's 7.2 million.
They publish it actually
in a signing bonus. I think that that's exactly what he deserves. And I think that if they kind of nurture him and bring him up the right way in the major leagues, I think he has extreme
let's
potential.
work backwards. So you realize, have you been to a Dodger game lately? So you realize if you take a family of 4 to a Dodger game, you're looking at $500.
Oh.
So, yeah, $500.
I mean,
where do you sit, Aaron? Where do you sit?
Coach, what are you talking about?
I sit behind the third base dugout.
Where are you sitting? Dugout club?
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Coach, I go to San Francisco Giant games for $6 a ticket.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, but the beers are. I've been to Giant Stadium. I love it. It's $12 a beer.
But the beers are 12.
So then you put that in perspective. Disneyland is legit $500.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm a blue collar guy. I grew up poor. I'm fighting for the little guy. I don't know. I don't see how families. So maybe you go once a year, Mayor or Ryan. You go once a year, but you could go 10 times a year. So the reason the money is so expensive at the games is you got to pay these players.
Well,
most of them don't work out.
You also got to look at how much money the clubs are making, Coach. And they're making a lot of money on the revenue they're getting from
television
the stadium,
revenue,
the tickets, the television, the parking. I mean, the whole Frank McCourt thing with the parking. I mean, they're making a lot of money from their team. And if they're making that much money, I don't see why they wouldn't put it into young talent that can build up their organization.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Yes.
When you sign your NBA contract, will you leave 2 tickets for the mayor and I at will call?
I will.
Please?
I will. I got you.
Dump us, are you?
No.
I'm going to have to report that as a gift, though.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give me some high tickets.
All right. So I don't know what's going on, Mayor or Ryan, in our community, but we send baseball players to the major leagues every year. We send football players to the NFL. Now we have a young lady that just won the World Series in softball.
Mariah Lopez.
Unbelievable. I watched.
Don't discount the number of Olympians.
Yeah. It goes. What is in our water? Is there something?
It's clearly leadership at the city.
Something.
It's clearly leadership.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite sport, Mayor? So if you had one sport you're going to watch, which sport would it be?
I'm still probably I would either be a college football or college basketball game, I think.
Okay.
I still watch pretty much everything. Like you as a parent, you kind of get into what your kids are into, and so my son is a huge soccer player, soccer fan. So I find myself watching as much. Sunday mornings we're recording, the British Premier League games, because that's what he wants to watch, and so I'd rather sit and watch that with him than watch kind of a random football game by myself. So, but still, if I had my choice, that's probably where I'm going to go.
All right, very cool. So we're going to take 1 minute because I'm sick of basketball, sick of talking about the NBA. I'm glad. Well, this may not be the last game tonight, Aaron. This may not be the last game.
It's over.
No, my guy LeBron.
Wow.
So if Kyrie shows up tonight, Ryan, if Kyrie shows up tonight, LeBron shows up, Love shows up, I like our chances.
I don't even think it's any of those three. I think that they three have shown up through most of the series. Kyrie a little bit inconsistent, but LeBron's been there. Kevin Love's been hitting threes. I think it comes down to Tristan Thompson. I think you look at him, the way he played in Game 4, that dude was a menace on the boards.
I agree.
And if he shows up and plays as physical as he did and is contesting shots and
But
altering those shots.
He's the one of the most inconsistent players on that team.
Exactly, and he didn't show up for the first 3 games. He showed up in Game 4, and you could see that it definitely had an impact on it.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk.
It's over.
It's over? No, it's not over. We still have another segment. It's not over. We're going to come back and talk about some other sports on KHTS 1220. It's an award-winning radio station. It's called Coach's Corner. So honored to have the mayor with us today and Ryan Williams. We're right back.